Hello from Gardening at Douentza here in Ireland, and you're very welcome to this video all about the wonderful Hawaiian palm Brighamia. Now this plant here makes a wonderful house plant with its gorgeous trunk, and today what we're going to do is we are going to repot this plant and talk a little bit about its care and its origins. So let's get on with it. I was really delighted to get my hands on this fantastic Hawaiian palm just recently at a get-together, and it is a really super thing that's grown primarily for its trunk. Now, as you can see, it's a caudex plant, so this is one where we have a succulent structure that sits proud of the soil, and in fact many palms are actually caudex plants. As a bonus, this plant produces scented yellow flowers round about November, I think. And the trunk, which is the main feature, which is why we've bought it in the first place, forms pretty much in the same way as a plumeria trunk does, or a philodendron trunk. So as you can see, the plant has lots of leaves, and when each of those leaves withers and drops off, it leaves this kind of scar tissue on the trunk, which is a definite feature. But I'm very sorry to tell you that the common name for this plant is cabbage on a stick. Did you ever hear such a derogatory common name as that before? And all I can say is you've got some very fancy sticks in your neck of the woods if you can compare this trunk to a stick. But the cabbage bit is really interesting because the leaves are generally considered to be cabbage-like. And the plant, it will come as no surprise, is in the Campanula family. And any of you who've been watching my videos for a while will recall that the muskea plant that I grew from the Canary Islands a long time ago actually looked really quite similar to this in terms of the top growth on top of the stem. And I will link to that video at the very end, but it's certainly a very interesting family group, short-lived sometimes, but it's certainly a very interesting and noteworthy plant group that I tend to look out for. Now, the really bad news is that this is a critically endangered plant. So this plant is endemic to 2 Hawaiian islands, and it's critically endangered in that the last sighting of a specimen in the wild was in 2014, and it's now believed that this plant is no longer in existence in the wild. So all that's left are the specimens that are being grown as houseplants. And why has it become endangered? Well, I'm sure there are a multitude of reasons, but the main thing is that the plant's pollinators, a certain type of hawk moth, is now extinct. And that means that even though this plant can be grown as a houseplant and pollinated manually by people, it can never pollinate itself in the wild, so it can never again exist in the wild. It's basically the living dead. As I said, this is a very popular houseplant, and I bought my specimen just a week ago at a get-together I had in a garden centre here in Ireland. And I think I'm going to insert some clips here now of this plant when I bought it. But what we will notice is that this plant has gone a bit downhill since that get-together. Well, the trunk looks fine from here, but if we rotate, you can see that a lot of the leaves are dying off. Now, this plant is one that goes dormant in the summer, so it could be that this plant was recently imported and comes from a different climate to ours and therefore thinks it's going summer dormant, in which case it wouldn't be so much to worry about. But what I think is really essentially the problem is that this is a plant, a succulent plant, that grows up high in rocky elevations with very little soil, and it has been potted in a very kind of ordinary houseplant soil mix, not free draining at all. And the result of that is that the plant is not doing well. So we're going to try and give it the best chance it can possibly get. I'm going to repot this, going to repot it as a succulent, and hopefully it will start to do really well for me. Now, if you read up about this plant, forums are littered with people who say this is a really difficult plant to grow, but we're going to give it our best shot. Right, so I'm going to use my regular succulent mix for potting up my Hawaiian Palm. And here in Ireland, what I use is 2 parts inorganic to 1 part organic. Now, the 2 parts inorganic can be horticultural grit, as I have here. It can be perlite, it can be vermiculite. In this instance, we're going with the horticultural grit. And the 1 part organic is just multi-purpose compost. Now, it's freezing outside today, so these composts that were kept outside were frozen. So I brought them into the house and I've warmed this grit in the microwave a little bit first because I don't want to shock my plant. Okay, so 2 parts inorganic. I'm just using this as a measuring scoop. And 1 part organic. In here into the bowl, and now I'm just going to mix it around a bit. I'm going to need more than this to fill the clay pot I have for repotting my plant, but this is a good basis to start with. Miraculously been handed a tissue. Just going to tear it off a bit and place it at the base of the bowl. And now we're going to put some of the mix into the bowl. Now that's probably a good basis to start. I'll take a little bit out and I'll mix up a bit more as we go. And here is my plant, which I am just taking ever so gingerly out of the pot. And you can see it has quite a delicate root system. And now I'm just going to loosen the earth as best I can. Take as much of it off as I can. And it doesn't have an extensive root system, but the roots it does have seem in good shape. I mean, these are not mushy roots, these are quite succulent roots, as they should be, and they haven't degraded. So we shall hope for the best. So here we are, and as you can see, we have quite a healthy looking root system on this plant. And I do not think that overwatering can be the reason why this plant is losing leaves, but we will come back to that in just a short moment, because I think I'm going to have a little surprise for you at the end. And I'm going to now place this Codex plant, roots and all, into the pot, and it's a good size, I think. I'm going to backfill now with some of my mix around the plant. And what you really need to be careful of, as with all potting, is that the plant remains the same in terms of sitting clear of the soil. So whatever was above the soil before needs to remain above the soil after you've repotted it. Pressing it down a bit, but making sure not to break the roots. And I'm not going to water this. And so our Hawaiian Palm is now repotted. Now the roots were in good shape, so I'll expect this plant to go on and do great things. But the mystery still remains as to why it's dropping leaves. And I think I have found the answer. So let's turn this around. And one interesting thing is that the leaves tended to be dropping from this side of the plant more than the other side. And if we look in here on the trunk, can you see that white there? There's some kind of fungal growth going on there, and it smells a little bit bad. And if I actually squeeze the trunk, I got dirty hands at the moment, so you don't want to introduce an infection more than has been in there. There's actually liquid coming out of it. Now this is a caudex, so it's a trunk that is supposed to hold liquid for the plant, but it shouldn't ooze out like that. And if we actually turn this plant sideways, you can see that it's lost some turgidity in terms of this half of the trunk, and that's due to the fungal infection. So, do you know what? We are going to have to do unexpected open heart surgery on this plant. I am going to get a sterilized knife, and we're going to have to do our best to cut out this infected area and just sterilize it. So bear with me for a moment while I give my hands a good wash, because they're very filthy, and sterilize a sharp knife. And now I'm back with a sterilized knife. Now I'm just removing some of these spoiled leaves here with my finger. My hands have been thoroughly washed since you last saw me. You can see that we have a very squidgy bit here on the trunk. Oh, and it extends down to about here. Ooh. And if I turn around here, the back of the trunk is not squidgy. So I'm going to endeavour to cut out all of the squidgy bit with my trusty knife. Now I just, with my nail here, remove this stuff. See how it just comes off? So whether some water spilt on this at some stage, I don't know. But as you can see, the poor plant has suffered dreadfully from it. No need to use the knife just yet, because this is just coming away in my hand. Right, so there's oozy stuff. Right, I'm going to just cut straight up here, just a little bit, not too deep. You see, I don't want to cut any more than I should. Obviously, the more tissue that the plant has left, the more likely it is to survive. Oh, it's not good on the inside. Now, the inside of this trunk is supposed to hold water, but I can feel a definite difference now. I've reached a part where it is not squidgy anymore. My poor plant. We've just got soft tissue that's just coming straight out here. I'm going to cut into this bit here just a little bit. And extricate. There's a bit of rot there. Actually, I can physically see it. Look at that. See where it's white as opposed to green? Can this poor plant survive? I have no idea. I feel like I need a surgeon's mask and a whole like surgery room set up. Now it's hard to know what's going on down there. If I put my finger in it, it does feel squidgy. Whereas I feel I've gotten the rot here going up. I think I need to cut a V-cut down here on the outside of the plant. Oh, I'm not qualified for this. I'm not a surgeon. Okay, take out that squarey bit, or triangular bit, sorry. Gotten my shapes mixed up now. And actually, I think we're reaching now the end of the rot. The trick is to get all of the rot out And then we can cauterize the wound. In fact, just here, what we've left with really is the outer skin. We've removed all the inner tissue just around this section of the plant. Okay, I think we are nearly there, as best we can get it. Okay, I am now officially finished cutting this plant, and now I have to think about how I'm going to cauterize this wound, because it's an enormous surface area. And I mean, normally what we do is put cinnamon on an open wound, just like kitchen cinnamon. And in fact, I think that's all I can do in the circumstances. But it's such a vast area that I fear for the worst. I'm actually going to wash my hands one more time before I apply the cinnamon. Okay, I'm feeling pretty traumatized now at this stage, as I'm sure the poor plant is. And what we're going to do is apply some cinnamon. So I have my egg cup here and I have my cinnamon. And I'm just going to put a quantity of the cinnamon in the egg cup, just to make it easier to apply. And oh my gosh, we've got such a large exposed area. I can't imagine that this poor plant will survive, but I'll do my best for it. Now, when you apply this near plant roots, you have to be very careful not to put on too much, because it'll dry them out. So I am wondering whether this is going to dry out the remaining tissues in the plant and just the whole blooming thing dies of dehydration. This is the most appalling thing I've had to do in a very long time. And my poor Hawaiian Palm, I feel like it should be in intensive unit in the hospital on very elaborate machines that go bing, rather than standing in my kitchen being doused in cinnamon. No, it's okay, I'm not going to put you in the cake. I'm trying to save your life. Okay, I have coated the whole area with the cinnamon. And cinnamon, I don't know if it actually has antiseptic properties, but what it really does is it dries out tissues quickly. And that means that they close over and you're less likely to get infection going in, because infection only goes in a wet, exposed area. So that's the thinking behind the cinnamon. So that is it. I have done what I possibly can for my Hawaiian Palm. And that brings me to the end of this completely traumatizing video. I had no idea what I was letting myself in for today when I decided to repot my Hawaiian Palm, but I can certainly say that my life as a surgeon is going to stop here. I really don't want to do this kind of thing anymore. Now we're seeing the Hawaiian Palm's good side here, but if we turn it to profile, can you see there how thin it now is, how half of the plant on one side has been cut off, and there is the bad side with the extent of enormous amount of flesh that's been excavated. So I don't know if this plant can possibly survive, but I've done my best for it. And here we are, just 2 days after the open heart surgery that you saw me perform on my poor Hawaiian Palm. And I have to tell you that the prognosis is not good. And here we are a few days later, and you can see that the rot has progressively gotten worse on the plant, and we're just having a final look at it before it heads up to the big compost heap in the sky. Thank you very much for watching this sad video, I suppose, because we didn't have a happy result, but we tried our best, and I think with plants that's the most important thing. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we will be back on a cheerier note next time, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.